Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are tackling a massive headache for pretty much any digital creator. How do you take a beautiful but totally flat AI-generated image and turn it into something you can actually use? A layered, production-ready asset for animation or a game. Let's get into it. So picture this. You've been wrestling with a prompt. You finally get it just right. And bam, the AI gives you an absolute masterpiece. It's exactly what you had in your head. The style, the subject, the lighting, it's perfect. But of course, there's a huge problem, right? That gorgeous image is totally flat, a single layer. So if you want to, make the character move or have those windmill blades actually spin, you're out of luck. Everything is just baked together, completely fused. Believe it or not, this problem actually has a technical name: raster entanglement. And it happens because the AI model, well, it just doesn't think like we do. It doesn't see layers. It just sees one big canvas and melts everything together. The foreground, the background, even the lighting effects. So here's how we're going to break this down. First up, the flat image problem and why the simple fixes just don't work. Then we're going to dive into two amazing solutions, one for smart 2D layers and another for true 3D parts. And finally, we'll see how this totally changes your animation workflow. So let's really dig into this flat image problem. What is actually going on inside these AI models that's causing such a roadblock for creatives? The folks who research these tools put it best. They say the models fuse all elements into a single entangled canvas. Basically, their job is to spit out a finished picture, not a layered project file. The AI has zero concept of a character layer being separate from a background layer. To it, it's all just one thing. Okay, so you're probably thinking, why not just use the tools I already have? Mask out the thing you want, use an AI to fill in the hole. Seems easy enough. But yeah, this is where things usually go completely sideways. Let's look at why. This is the workflow that drives people crazy. You spend all this time making the perfect mask, you pop it into an in-painting model and tell it, hey, just fill in the background. But here's the thing. The AI's job is to create, not to perform surgery. It sees that empty space and just gets creative. It starts adding stuff you never wanted, and boom, your original asset is basically ruined. And this epic fail has a name too: generative hallucination. The AI isn't carefully cutting things out, it's painting. It's programmed to make the canvas look good, which usually means inventing new textures, new shapes, new lighting, totally wrecking the thing you were trying to save. This table just lays it all out, doesn't it? The old mask and in-paint method, low viability. It's just not going to work for animation because of that hallucination problem. To get what we really need, those clean, transparent assets, we have to look at brand new, specialized models that were built from the ground up to actually understand layers. All right, so let's get to the good stuff, our first big breakthrough. This solution is all about getting those perfect Photoshop-style 2D layers, the kind you absolutely need for pretty much any animation or design work. And here it is. Meet Qwen Image Layered. This isn't just some general-purpose AI. It was designed with one very specific goal: to kill raster entanglement for good. You give it your flat image, and it intelligently breaks it all down into separate, usable layers, transparency and all. So how does it do it? Well, here's the brilliant part. First off, it has a native understanding of transparency. That's the A in RGBA. It gets the alpha channel. But the real game changer, the thing that makes this so different, is that it was trained on a huge library of real professional Photoshop files. Think about that. It didn't just learn from flat images, it learned how artists work. It understands layers. And because of that, it can not only pull out your character, but also intelligently repaint the background that was hiding behind them. And this just shows you the night and day difference, right? The old way, you'd cut something out and you'd be left with this big, ugly hole that you'd have to spend hours painstakingly repainting. The Qwen method, it pulls out the object and rebuilds the background behind it all in one shot. It's just a ridiculous leap forward in efficiency. But, 2D layers aren't always enough. What happens when you need actual depth? I'm thinking about something like an isometric game asset, where that illusion of 3D is everything. Right, and that's the classic problem. The second you try to rotate a 2D layer in 3D space, the whole illusion just shatters. That cool-looking building suddenly looks like a piece of paper. You need real volume for a convincing rotation. And that brings us to solution number 2, part crafter.
Now, this is a totally different way of thinking. Instead of giving you flat 2D layers, it looks at your 2D image and generates real, honest-to-goodness 3D parts from it. So what does that actually mean? Well, you give it that 2D picture of a windmill, and what you get back isn't a bunch of flat PNGs. No way. You get a 3D model file of the tower and a completely separate 3D model file of the blades. We're talking real geometry here, stuff you can drop right into Blender or another 3D program and get that perfect smooth rotation.
So this table really boils it down. Your choice of tool comes down to one thing. What's your final goal? If you need those clean 2D layers to rig a character in After Effects or Spine, QIN Image Layered is what you want. But if you need to rotate an isometric object and have it feel solid and real, then it's gotta be Part Crafter. Okay, so let's bring this all home. With these new tools in our back pocket, what does a modern AI-powered animation workflow actually look like now? The whole process is now so much cleaner. Step 1, you generate your dream image in whatever tool you love. Step 2, you run it through the right tool for the job, Qwen for 2D, Part Crafter for 3D. Step 3, you import those perfect separated assets right into your animation software. And step 4, you just start animating. You get to completely skip that horrible, tedious manual separation step forever. And really, this is the big takeaway here. That huge wall that used to exist between a cool AI concept and a real production-ready asset, it's gone. It's been completely torn down. The boring prep work that could take hours, sometimes even days, can now be done in just a few minutes. So that leaves us with one last, and I think really exciting question. Now that the AI can handle all the grunt work for you, freeing you up to focus just on your creative ideas, what amazing things are you going to make?